was a lonely city.
Hello and welcome to today's video. So, this might look a little different. I'm using the new camera that Logan got for us. I thought I'd start today's video out with a little cleaning montage. Today's video is really going to be about Ranger and about his neutering story.
Needed somebody to show the way. Yeah, I was a heartbeat with no sound till you came around. Yeah, you showed me colors, light in the darkness. You were the only thing I needed. Then we got older, but we stayed the same. Swear that we never lost the flame. Nostalgia, you're an echo in my head. Oh, nostalgia, like a symphony of...
Alright, it is time to take care of the laundry that needs to be put away. That's just been sitting here for a little bit, like last night, this morning. Get some of these that are hanging up put away, and then I've got some donations that are going in this donation bag that is hiding back here. So, that is the plan, and there is the dog. Hello. Now we've made it to the portion that's all about Ranger and his surgery. So we decided to get Ranger neutered because he was just peeing everywhere, like not only in our room, like he had problems with like peeing and like marking his territory on our floor and stuff, but also he was humping a lot, and so like we were having to wash his bed all the time because it stank. Like it smelled so bad because he would hump and then ejaculate onto his bed, and it was just gross. So we decided that we were going to get him neutered. It took us a while. I've been wanting to get him neutered for probably almost a year now. Logan did not agree for quite a while, but we finally got on the same page. So now I'm going to use my phone notes that I kind of wrote on him. So, he got neutered on June 13th. That was his surgery day. When we went to go pick him up, I was actually surprised he was still very alert and excited to see me after surgery, which I wasn't expecting. But like, we got in the car and he was very sleepy, like just knockout. Normally he's trying to stick his head out the window and barking and whining and whatever. He just knocked out. He seemed to be uncomfortable, and when I say this, I mean like he would lay down, he'd get comfy, I'm like holding him, he'd have his legs like on my arm. He had his like legs right here at one point. Then he would kind of like squirm around, move. It felt like he was like maybe a little bit itchy or realizing that he didn't have balls. So that was an interesting little tidbit there. He was a little bit more whiny than normal. Like every time he moved, he kind of like whined a little. Definitely still loopy and did not like the cone. He tried to like push it off. He was whining in the cone. He was super thirsty when he got home. Like I gave him a little bit of water and he like downed it immediately. So we were just watching him. I'd take his water away. I'd put a little bit more in there and give it back because I didn't want him to drink too much and get sick after having anesthesia. He didn't really want to eat. We got wet food for the occasion so that he'd try to eat a little bit easier after surgery. He basically picked at it, took a couple little tiny bites, and then was done for the day, which I wasn't fully expecting, but I wasn't expecting him to like devour it. So he wouldn't go pee, and this kind of concerned me because they told us when we picked him up he might urinate a little bit more than normal. That's kind of what anesthesia does. So we were taking him out every couple hours. He would not go to the bathroom. I was like, oh my god, something's wrong with the dog. I was really scared. But he was okay. We ended up figuring out that he just didn't want to go pee with the cone on. So I was actually keeping track of how many times he peed, because it was worrying. He didn't poop the entire day and then cried at night, but he was still loopy and really wanted snuggles. So we kept him in the cage. We didn't want him in the bed where he would run off with this or try to jump off like he normally would. So we left him in the bed, or in his cage, and then I ended up making a little bed near his cage for myself opening the cage door and just cuddling with him because he was really sad. The next day, day 1 post-op, I took him out at 6:30 when I woke up. He still wouldn't pee. And then I wrote down, found out he's prissy and just did not like the cone. I was like, cool. He downed his wet food for breakfast, and then I was able to give him his meds. So he was on antibiotics for 10 days and pain pills for 3 days. So I gave him his pain pills that he had to eat with food, and then the antibiotic he didn't have to have with food, but we gave it at the same time. Logan took him out again. He wouldn't go to the bathroom. Logan took him out at 2:30 without the cone. He was fine. He peed and pooped, which was great. About 24 hours afterwards, he was good to go. He was alone for 2 hours in the cage, and I came home, and I was surprised he still had the cone on. That was our biggest fear. We had Warren checking him out because I was scared he was going to get the cone off while we were gone, because we both still had to work. So that was nice. He had his dry food for dinner, ate it, no problem. He was definitely more like himself that day, more snuggly. Made it almost halfway through the night before he woke me up crying in the middle of the night. We started taking him out with his harness and a leash so that he can't go running, but also so he'd go to the bathroom because he wouldn't do it with the cone on. Whatever. He started wanting to play. I was obviously watching him, but he was trying to play with the cone on, and it wasn't working out, and he was getting upset, so that was kind of funny. He ate dinner and had meds at 7. Definitely missed sleeping in the bed, but woke me up at 1 in the morning for water, and then went back in the cage, 2 a.m., slept with him. 6:16, woke up, went potty, peed. We found out his poop was like kind of squishy, so it wasn't like, it was almost like puppy poop consistency, like it was squashy kind of stuff. So we gotta leave it and let it dry before we can pick it up and throw it away. That night I had trouble feeding him at night. He wanted the wet food, and so I sat there for 20 minutes trying to hand feed him little pieces of kibble he wouldn't eat, and then I was like, you know what, I have to give him his pain meds. It was the last night of pain meds, so I gave up and gave him wet food. 6:17, he woke up, went potty, and antibiotics without food for the first time, and I tried it, and he was totally fine. Doesn't really seem to be in pain. Very needy, same kind of excitement when he came home. Ate kibble after sitting there for 20 minutes, doesn't seem to be in pain. Antibiotics at 7, slept in the bed until about 3-ish, woke me up at 4 to cuddle him when I put him in the cage around 3. Because we were like, oh, we don't want him just sitting out of the cage and whatever. 6:18, his ball area I noticed was looking quite a bit smaller, and I'll insert some pictures and stuff, because it looked like he still had balls when we got him back from the vet, and I was like, what is this? Like, what does this mean? Why is it like this? And they didn't explain what it was supposed to look like, but yeah. Sorry if you can hear anything in the background. I'm going to try to mute that out. I do live with my in-laws still, so there's that. 6:20, skipping forward a bit. He slept in the bed unsupervised through the night with Logan and I in the bed, so it's not like we were up always checking on him. He stayed right next to me. The cone was on, so it's very easy to tell when he's moving. He'd smack me with it. Once again, on 6:21, started playing with toys, supervised with the cone on, but he would give up pretty quickly because he'd get frustrated that he couldn't grab his toys. 6:23, we let him use the foam stairs that day. The cone came off for a while so he could get proper cuddles. It was the last day of antibiotics. And then no entry until 6:26. They took the cone off. That was 14 days. And then 6:28, we gave him his first bath. So all in all, the recovery process was just really stressful for me because I had never had a dog get neutered. I didn't know what was going on. I had lots of questions. And it's okay to have questions. It's okay to be scared. Your dog is going to be fine. If they come out of surgery, they're going to be okay. He did have where his ball area was, where it was still enlarged when we first brought him back. It's definitely like, it looked dry and cracky. It almost looked like it was a raisin kind of thing. But then like layers of it was starting to like look like they were peeling off. So we just had to make sure to keep him away from water. You don't want to get his underside wet. So like if you have a longer low to the ground dog like I do with like a miniature dachshund, you might want to like watch them. They're good to go out and go potty outside. But obviously for him, because he was lower to the ground, if it was wet and rainy, we wouldn't have been able to take him out, because you don't want their stitches to get wet. They have internal stitches, so we didn't have to go take them to go get the stitches out. They just dissolved on their own. And when they told us at first, you'll know when he's healing, like you'll know what it looks like, and I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about. When it actually came down to it, we could see like where his stitches were. There was like a green, they leave a green marker on his skin where they stitched him up. That's where his stitches are. They really have to be able to pay attention to. And you could see where that was starting to close up, where the parts of the skin met and it started to pucker up. And then with his ball area, where it still looked like he had a ball sack almost, you could see it just slowly start to get smaller and smaller and smaller. So before it was pretty big, it was like that big, and then now it's like much smaller, like this kind of, it's really small. So all in all, recovery was great. Now that we're about a month out, when this goes up, we're about 2 months out. He's been doing a lot better he doesn't really seem to hump. They do say that your dog can still get another dog pregnant for 90 days. So that is that. Okay, so once we got him neutered, he now, instead of peeing in like 5 different spots when we take him out, it's pretty much one. He sits there, he pees, he might sniff around a little bit, and on occasion we've seen him pee in another spot, but that's if like he's running around and I guess he decides that he didn't fully let go of his bladder. Same thing about if he has accidents. He's had one accident in here and he let it all go in one spot, and we've cleaned it. I'll show a little clip of it in a second. But yeah, it's still very dark even though we cleaned it. So there's that. But he seems to be totally fine. He doesn't hump nearly as much. Well, I've heard him maybe once, and that used to be like once a day. It has been one time since he has gotten neutered. So that's good. Makes me happy. Things are better. He definitely seems to be a little bit harder to anchor. Logan likes to like tease him and stuff, and so sometimes he teases too much or he plays with him too much and the ranger goes, oh, I'm mad at you. So it's a lot. We've noticed it takes a lot longer to get to that point. For a while it was like, oh, I'm growling, I'm play growling, I'm playing, you know, just playing around, play biting you, and then all of a sudden he would switch on a dime and be like, okay, I'm mad. I'm really mad. I'm for real growling at you. So that's been a nice temperament change, and I definitely suggest if you are thinking about getting your dog neutered, I would definitely suggest doing it. It's been really great for us. So I hope you enjoyed this video with the little cleaning montage in the beginning, and then now here we are with all of the stuff about Ranger. I have some other clips and stuff I'm going to include at this point. And I hope you enjoyed. I will see you in the next one. Bye!
A reason to get up? To turn back into a dragon to fight? That can't. Doesn't